Is Andrew Robb, and I'm the Ontario Regional Referees Chair. We are definitely pleased to be with you as we close out on a most interesting 2020, to say the least. It's hard to believe that we are now entering month number 10 with this pandemic. I know it must be difficult for most of us as we enter the holiday season with many regions now on lockdown, as this is supposed to be the time that we spend and enjoy with our family and friends. However, I truly believe that 2021 and beyond will be very special. I have no doubt about that. If right now we'll just take a look at the agenda for tonight's session. We have scheduled it for 90 minutes, so hopefully you will be with us for that time. So for the agenda, if we just have that up here, so we're gonna start off with the rules are version 2, the OVA modified indoor season, and so we'll have Alicia and Carrie to discuss that. We'll talk about the whistles and masks, the level 1 online easy generator platform, have some discussion on the referee upgrades, the referee engagement center, the referees outreach program, and finally just some upcoming dates in the new year. And of course, we'll finish that off with a question and answer period at the end. So you have an opportunity to do that. It's just some housekeeping items. So if you could please put any questions that you have in the chat. The call is being recorded, and everybody will be muted. All right. If for whatever reason you're unable or you feel shy and you do not want to address any comments in the chat, please feel free to email your referee regional chair, and if that needs to come up to the staff, the OVA staff, or to myself, we will get you a response. And so I'm really excited once again to introduce the regional referees chairs. So from Region 1, we have Al Kachuk. He's representing the West. From the East, Tony Cucciarello. From Region 2, Brian Rancourt. Region 3, Samara Savor. Region 4, Lynn Watkins. Region 5, Jennifer Adams. Region 6, Arena Zamboni. And our beach chair is John Gillis. For the Provincial Referees Committee, we have the Regional Operations Chair, Andy Cameron. The Referee Programs Chair, Jason Dodd. The Referee Quality Assurance Chair is Bob Rock, and the RUP, the Regional Upgrade Chair, is Chris Getz. From the OVA standpoint, we have the Director of Volleyball Operations, Alicia Liddams. We have the Manager of Indoor Programs, Carrie Campbell, and my right hand, my left hand, every hand, the operations lead is Kelvin Cheng. So as you know, during this pandemic, we felt it was very important to continue to stay engaged with the game of volleyball, both on the indoor side and on the beach, even though we were not whistling. It was important to stay connected and to continue on that learning path. So to that end, I would like now to introduce a special guest on the call. I don't know if I should really refer to him as a guest, because although he currently resides in the beautiful province of Newfoundland and Labrador, he still has a residence in Toronto, where he has spent many years as a Region 5 referee. I will probably embarrass Guy a bit, but Guy Bradbury is a retired international referee. He is currently the chair of the Domestic High Performance and International Referee Subcommittee. He's a member of the FIVB Refereeing and Rules of the Game Commission. He's an FIVB course instructor and referee coach. And more recently, we are proud to say he has been nominated and named president of the NORCECA Refereeing Commission, which of course Canada is a member of. Guy is also the managing director of the OCP group, the rules are, and he'll be taking us through the new version. So without further ado, I'd like now to turn this over to Guy Bradbury. Guy? You're on mute there, Guy.
Sorry. I said if I'm a little bit redder than normal, you know why. Okay, what's this here? Okay, can you see that now, Andrew?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, okay. Thanks, everybody. And Andrew, thank you for that very kind introduction. I said if I was a little bit redder than normal, I certainly am after that. And I really appreciate the kind words, and I appreciate everybody's help and support along the way to getting where we all are. And I'm very proud to be a member of the Ontario Volleyball Association, very proud to be a member of the Volleyball Canada as we continue to make our mark internationally with our referees. Certainly with Ontario, we're quite proud that we have a number of indoor and beach referees. I won't name them all, but as you know them, but they continue to represent our province and our country very well. So Andrew and Kelvin have asked me to give you a little bit of overview of what I'm now calling the Rules Are 2020. What you would have seen was Rules Are version 2. And the reason for version 2 is that the Ontario Volleyball Association since 2016 have been using the software titled The Rules Are. And we really felt after 4 or 5 years, it was time for a major architectural redesign and upgrade. And I'm very pleased to introduce this particular program to you over the next few minutes. So why the rules are, when people look at it, people often ask me, Guy, why did you lead the development of this particular piece of software? And essentially was simply to improve the experience of being a sport official. As sport officials, we are a key variable in the satisfaction level of all participants. But what we really felt in developing this piece of software, that if we can improve your experience of being a referee, it will help the retention level of sport officials, but also improve your own experience. And if you're a happy referee, then you're going to keep coming back. And that's something, a real key focus for the Ontario Volleyball Association. The Rules Are is designed as it's a custom designed piece of software that's really meant to be a supplementary program for the overall Ontario Volleyball Association's referee education and engagement program. The program was created particularly for 3 reasons. And overall, first of all, to be an educational resource. And as you've heard me talk about, it's really to increase the enjoyment of being a referee while enjoying the experience for all participants. As you know, if we do a really good job and if we feel that we've done a really good job as a referee, the players and the coaches and the spectators also will have a very pleasurable experience. So for us as referees, it's really about being prepared that we have a very good very good enjoyment while we're refereeing. And because of that, everybody else has an improved experience. We also created the program to assist players and coaches to understand the rules of the game. So right now, it's just primarily been used for referees, but we're hoping to expand it beyond referees to players and coaches and give them a better understanding of the rules of the game. And that's the goal is there to help them understand the decisions which referees make. And then finally, as an educational and information resource for spectators and fans and parents, so it will help them understand the rules. Most of them only learn the rules by their own experience coming to a competition and not really understanding the details of the rules. So this is hoping that this is something we'd like to create an outcome for the rules are. Of course, as sport officials, and this list is nowhere exhaustive, but we are ambassadors for our organizations. When we go to a competition, we wear a Volleyball Canada badge and people know we represented or been nominated by the Ontario Volleyball Association. In most cases, we are the only ones in the hall around the beach that have that type of designation. All the other team, everybody else here generally represents a club, or they're coming as a spectator, or they're coming as an organizer. But we are the ones that are front and center for every competition, that we are the sole representatives of our various organizations. Of course, one of the goals and objectives of the Ontario Volleyball Association is to provide a safe environment for all participants. And we are kind of stewards of that. So we have to be responsible to ensure that there is a safe environment from a facility perspective, from a spectator perspective, from an equipment perspective, that we ensure that the environment is safe. The core fundamentals of a referee is to apply the rules of the game and promote fair play and good sportsmanship, that the game is managed very well, that the players are abiding by the rules of the game as approved by, and regulations as approved by the OVA. And then finally, to respect the game and being prepared to whistle your next assignment. And this is something that leads on to where I want to talk about the purpose of the rules is that it is an opportunity for you to prepare for your next nomination. So essential, what is the rules are? It's really a sports-based learning app. We developed it to be mobile friendly, but it's also is really something that it's a web-based, so it's not going through Google or not going through Apple. Anywhere with a computer, anywhere in the world, people can log on and play the game and enjoy it. It's, of course, as I mentioned, it's educational and it's really meant to be challenging and entertaining way to learn the rules. So it's just another avenue to become engaged and improve your understanding of the rules of the game. And as mentioned, it's designed for all participants of the game, just not for referees, but for players, coaches, spectators, and fans. In February of 2020, with the support of the Ontario Volleyball Association, we did a survey regarding rules are pre-2020. And some of the best features which you said from the survey, and you can read there that it provides the correct rule. So when you answer a question, either if you get the answer correct or incorrect, you get immediate feedback with the rule. Responsive was easy to use, log on, click, and away to go. It provides instant feedback. Again, if it's incorrect or correct, it makes a reference to the rule. People mentioned the variety of questions and the simplicity of the program. It was really intuitive of the type of features which we provided. The features which you said you'd like in a new version or an updated version of the rules was the OVA wanted control of the content. So the OVA in this particular feature, the OVA has developed all the content that goes with the program. And that was really important. The first one that we had was the content was provided, and while people said that there was a variety of questions, in general, we felt that those questions have become stale and repetitive, and maybe some of the wording wasn't absolutely correct the way in which it really should have been to meet the needs of our members. So what we've done now is that you have close to 500 questions in the volleyball program. You'll see pictures, you'll see diagrams. This is something else you asked for. You'll see video, again, something else which you've asked for. Through the leadership team from your provincial officials committee, worked really hard on the questions, updated the questions. One of the features that you asked for was in the previous version, when you clicked an answer, it automatically went to the next question. This particular version will give you the opportunity to review the question, and then you control whether or not you want to advance to the next question or you want to stay with that question to review it. It also gives you the opportunity to repeat the question. It will show you the question again. You do not get to re-answer the question because you've already done that, but it will show you if in case you got the answer incorrect and you want to go back and review that question, that will permit it. We've gamified the app, and I'll show you a little bit later on, something we call a challenge. We have 3 types of challenge. We have a personal challenge. We have a 1v1 challenge where you can challenge another referee. And then we have an overall general leaderboard challenge. And we've updated the question data bank. So the features which we have, you'll see that the personal quick learn, and that's very similar to the previous version, which you would have had in the original rules are. However, now we've color-coded the questions, and you still get immediate feedback. So this particular one can be used by an organization to either for personal, to test one's knowledge so that you can see how you score based on your own knowledge of the game. Or if you actually do the questionnaire enough that you will actually learn the rules of the game. So it becomes both an individual testing program and also a learning program. And we like to call that experiential learning, just by continuing to do it and understanding. The questions now are true, false, as we've had in the past. In some of the past programs, we did have multiple choice, but now this is a full-fledged option. And we will have video and diagrams and pictures, as I mentioned. This one's similar to the original version. Scores are simply based upon correct answers. So you get the answer correct at the end of the day, 10, let's say you answer 10 questions, you get 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10, whatever it is. A new feature that we've added and what we call the personal quick challenge. And this is something which the Ontario Volleyball Association will be rolling out a little later. But it's a feature for individual referees. It's similar to Quick Learn, but we've gamified it. And what we mean by gamified it is that now you answer the same type of questions, but the scoring is based on 2 variables. The speed in which you answer a question. So for example, the question may be whatever it is, but in order to get 100% of the score, you have to answer in a certain time frame. So let's say 12 seconds. If you answer in 13 seconds, you get 90% of the total score. If you answered in 14 seconds, you get 80%. If you answer in 15 seconds, you get 70%, and so on. So what it becomes now is not just knowing the answer, but it's really understanding and taking some guesswork out. But we really believe that by continuing to challenge yourself, you'll better have a stronger understanding of the rule. The next level of the feature which we're offering is what we call the 1v1 challenge. Similar, taking the characteristics and the features which we have in the personal quick challenge module, is that now you can challenge another referee. Now for the Ontario Volleyball Association, that referee has to be a registered member of the Ontario Volleyball Association and has to receive authorization to use the rules there. For the Ontario Volleyball Association, the rules are 2020 is a membership-based service provided to you by the Ontario Volleyball Association through the Provincial Officials Committee. So it's only registered referees of the OVA that have access to this particular program. So it is a benefit of membership to being a member of a refereeing member of the Ontario Volleyball Association. So you can challenge any one of your colleagues anywhere throughout the province who's a member. Your colleague will play the exact same questions which you play. So that means now and you share your scores. So your scores are being shared upon the exact same quiz. So it's not, or the exact same set of questions. So it's not someone using a different set of questions that we're able to compare on. Again, the scores are based on the time to correctly answering the question and time. And I will show you a little bit of a live demo now in a minute. And we also believe that this is a fun and entertaining way to really gain a better understanding of the rules and understanding some of the competition situations that have been developed by your group who wrote your rules. Then we have the fourth level of service, and we call that the leaderboard, the group challenge. And this has all the features of the previous versions which you saw. You could have a group challenge just based on getting the answer to the question right or wrong, just straight up. Or you can have a timed question, and again, you create this overall competition and understanding the rules. So now you're able to, by doing this from a group, you're able to celebrate success as the OVA. It's another way for them to engage officials. You use the same questions, so everybody uses the same questions, so it's not manipulating. You're not looking at a different set of questions altogether. And it could be a target group. So for example, if you just want to do your level ones, the people who are registered for a level 1 referee course, and to help them understand the rules, you can have a leaderboard just for level 1s. Or level 2s, or people level 3s, or whatever levels you want. You can have groups, so regions can actually set up their own challenge programs within your regions in preparation for OFSA or preparation for OUA or OCAA types of championships. So we've been able to develop the program that provides you with very many opportunities that you can connect with referees. So I'm going to do a live demo now, and it's going to show you what you'll see is some pictures, some diagrams, some video, and everything else which you see on the screen. So just a moment, please. So this is the Ontario Volleyball Association site, and I'll come back to the sign-in now in a sec. But this is what you'll see when you enter the site. The OVA logo, of course. This is your home account. This will take you back to here. So I must have had the log out because I've been here for a while. So this is what the login page looks like. You simply put in your email address, your password, and away to go. To sign up, you will receive a notice from the Ontario Volleyball Association indicating that the program has been officially launched. And we're not able to transfer your passwords or anything like that over from the previous version of the rules are for security and privacy reasons. So it's just like now when we have to register to become a member of the OVA, we have to re-input all our information and start from the very beginning. The same thing with this particular service. So what you do if you're not a member, to sign up, you have to follow the link provided. So the OVA would have sent you an invitation, and you've got to use that particular link. Give us a moment, please. It's just a security feature here now. It doesn't allow me to use that particular email. And this is where it will take you, again, back to that site. Your account will provide this, and this is the information we're asking, and I've just put this in for my own. If you wish to edit, you can. And one of the things, when you do register, you'll see this, and these are what you have to complete. So if I misput that in, I can take that out and I can add to level 3. And then I go update by user. And here you go, my beach level 1 and indoor level 3. Challenges, I'll come back to that. This is your overall play history of what you actually use. So it enables to show you what you've asked for. And that was also something else which you asked for, is look at how do I know how much I've played myself and how many attempts have I made, and I'll show you something. So we have 2 little programs to show you. Go ahead. Someone had a question? No. Okay. So I'm going to show you 2 programs now that we have. This is the Personal Quick Learn program. And as you can see here, you have the number of attempts. So again, getting ready for provincial championships, we normally have to do at least 10 attempts in order to qualify to go. And many of you would ask, well, how do I know how many attempts I have? And this will allow you to identify that. As you can see, this is the style which we have. There's no time limit on a quiz. However, we can put a time limit if we so wish on questions, but that's another feature. And one of the things here, remember, if you recall in the last one, once you pressed a question, it automatically went to the next question. This one gives you a bit of time. And if you wish to move around and how do I manage this here, or how to make sure I get the correct score? And then once we click, and the next time this question comes up, they will not be in this order. So the questions will rotate all throughout, and then the answers will become mixed too as well. They are randomized every time you play the program. And as you can see, yes, I got that question correct. And then it gives me the reference to the rule. Then if I wasn't quite sure and I want to go back and look at the question, I just press show question, and it takes me back to that particular question. Once you press next, it will take you, and I only have 2 questions. These are the number of questions. 1 out of 2 is for demonstration purposes. And then the line judge indicates a football by waving his or her flag up and down. If I was to say true to that, and then it would indicate that's the wrong answer. This gives me the correct answer. And then, wait now, where did I miss this? Oh, this is it. Wave the flag up and down as the answer was over the head. And then it gives you your score at the end of it. And then you're able to press to go continue. And this will take you back to do the program again. But let's say, again, a number of features which some of you asked. I answer a question, and all of a sudden the phone rings, or I've been distracted and I have to leave. You'll see here, if I go back and just want to start over again, you'll see that you started a quiz on December 14th and it's still going. So now you're able to leave a particular module and come back. And then this is where this in progress feature comes into play. So you press in progress and it will say, yes, I want to continue the play. And if you click that, you just finish the game. If you go forfeit, it says, thank you very much. And but what you will see, even if you forfeit, the attempts does not count as an attempt. So again, from the Ontario Volleyball Association's perspective and your own perspective, you get to see that how many attempts you have in getting ready to move forward. And with the Ontario Volleyball Association, you have unlimited attempts, so you can use the program as much and as often as you wish. So when you click the quiz program here in the left menu, that will show you all the programs. So one of the programs, one of the modules that the OVA has put together is your return to play guidelines. And this one has some interesting features in it as well. I just want to see, hopefully this one's fixed. So this will take you to the overall return to guidelines, and this is within the Referee Engagement Center that you're able to use. Now I want to play. So at the end of a match, for the return to play guidelines, this is these are the options for you as a referee in managing the match. And you recall, one of the issues that, or one of the responsibilities of a referee is providing that safe environment. And particularly in our era right now with COVID-19 and where we're going forward, and these protocols will probably be in place a long time. So generally as the referees, we're the ones who will provide the oversight for this particular program. So the OVA's put this together to help you really understand the criteria and your responsibilities at the end of a match. So if we said, and again, you can change your answer any way you wish. So I'm just going to say this one, and you'll get the same, response. So this was incorrect. This is the correct response. Then you get as well the policy that's been put in place. And then for more info, this will take you to a YouTube site.
Back in the 50s and 60s, you watched the nightly news.
About that.
At the end of the match, the first referee signals the.
So this will provide you with a bit of. I'm sorry, what was that, Kelvin?
No, we're all good.
Okay. So again, this is part of the video type of program that you have the option to use. And this one we haven't adjusted this. This one there's a total of 30 questions in this particular one, but again, it's all the same. Each team is responsible for providing a tile cues, and we'll say that's true. And again, you can click this, and this will take you to because you probably cannot hear my sound, I won't play it. But this will take you to a YouTube site that will provide you with some direction of what you would like to be able to look at. So that's the general overview from the OVA's perspective. These are the first two programs that they're going to launch. And I'll just very quickly take you through. Here's a one-on-one challenge. And this one, this is the administrative site, what you're seeing here now. So. And again, the reason why I show this, I just want to show you some of the diagram features that will eventually make its way into the OVA program. You see the diagram, please use the diagram. What is the referee's decision? And because this one is a challenge, it automatically takes you, so you do not get a chance to review the question. So it automatically takes you to the next one, shows that it's correct. I'm just going to quickly go through this because I want to show you the score here now. I'll let you watch the video. See, what you see here is the scored 3 out of 3. So got 100% right in the number of questions answered. But the points awarded, for each question correctly, you would get 100 points. But that 100 points is based upon getting the answer correct in a certain period of time. Because these answers went beyond the time frame, I only received 180 points out of the 300. And that's the feature that similar feature is for the personal challenge, for the 1v1 challenge, and can be used as well for the group challenge. Are there any questions? I think I've gone about as much of my time as that I was being permitted, so.
Hey guys, so there was a question just about registration.
Yes.
So we've answered in the chat that people will have to create a new account as it is a separate system from the old one.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, so the OVA will send out more info regarding registration and the link to that website in very shortly. Is there a time frame preset or does it change? So there's a question about the time frame. Is it preset or does it change with the question? It's
preset, Jennifer. So, and that's something which, when we put the program in place, and particularly when it comes to the challenge questions, those will need to be pre-tested just to make sure that if you're playing a video and the video automatically takes 8 seconds to play, and you only have 12 or 13 seconds, it really makes it very limited. So we'll have to find where that happy medium is. However, there is another feature that we're able to provide scores based on the actual time, and you're able to do it by questions. So depending on which particular program that you want to use. So the answer is yes for some programs, and the answer is no for the others. We have a preset time frame.
I think that's it for questions. Andrew, do you have any comments or questions?
No questions. Just a comment to thank you, Guy. I know this is your passion, and if you would go on, if given the opportunity, and so I think this was a nice little taste of what to expect. So really appreciate your time and coming on and reviewing that for us. So thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Okay, moving along on the agenda. Actually, I did not realize, and I apologize, but our executive director is with us. So welcome to Joanne Lubacek for being with us and hanging out with the referees. Really appreciate that. We do not have Carrie, but Alicia will take us through and discuss the next section on the return to play with fingers crossed in 2021. So Alicia,
Definitely.
on to you.
Thanks. Kelvin, are you putting up the slideshow?
Guy, can you just stop sharing your screen?
Yep, that I can. Done.
Thank you. Let's see. PowerPoint slides. Actually, I gotta share my screen again. Share screen. Okay, Alicia, you ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it. We're good.
Okay,
You
take it away.
can go forward one.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, here we go. Okay, so obviously, oh, Kelvin, can you mute yourself?
Yeah, sorry.
We will get this, I promise you guys. Okay, here we go. So indoor youth competitions, as Andrew mentioned, things are completely different than what we're used to. We're in the middle of a pandemic. What we normally do with 9 teams on 3 courts is nothing that we will be doing anytime soon. We need to change. We all knew that we would need to be adaptive and fluid throughout the pandemic, and this is exactly what the youth competition staff have been working with to try and put something in place that they can deliver for our members. Part of the mandate of a provincial sport organization in Ontario is to offer that programming and, having the physical and mental health well-being of members at heart, and obviously having a safe, structure in place to help them do that. So with our changes, obviously we had to follow government and public health regulations. So when we're in the good green to orange zones, that's 50 people max. So once again, no more 9-on-3 tournaments. Part of the process was the youth competition staff sending out a survey to all of our club contacts as well as coaching staff, just to kind of get a feeling for the landscape of, the COVID world that our volleyball world is facing right now. So who has the comfort level, who wants to have some sort of competition still, how long are the clubs willing to play into the year? Normally we're into Ontario championships by April, but you know what, is that out the window this year? This is the step that we wanted to get answers to help design what we wanted to come up with. Also, we've been working closely with Volleyball Canada and all of our partners to look at all options for any sort of championship event for Ontario championships, nationals. As we know, 10,000 people a day coming in and out of a facility isn't going to work anymore. So all of this had to be kept in mind while we were coming up with our new plan. So other things we talk about today as well may change. Once again, we know the government regulations have changed quite drastically from March when we first started working on everything. And sometimes from week to week, additional things change. So we have to remain fluid and do what we can do. So Kelvin, next one. So as you can see by the title, a league format. So once again, we're going from a tournament base to more of a league structure. Why are we doing this? We need to have short-term commitments. So with the ability for teams to jump in and out of competitions. On the next slide, I will talk about kind of what the league looks like, but with communities going from green to yellow to red and red to orange quite quickly, we need to make sure that we have smaller amount of teams playing together, that they can play in one wave of competition and then maybe have to take that month off and then play again later on. Once again, we also need to stay within the numbers of participants, which is allowed based on the government regulations. So we always have to stay under 50. With the league formats, instead of having multiple teams playing at the same time to stay under 50, we'll be looking at more of working with the clubs and teams directly to set up individual matches during their practice times. So that's going to help us with all of the permit issues that are out there that clubs are having. There's no community use school for schools. Colleges and universities aren't really renting out space, so we had to play where we can. We're all feeling the pinch, financial pinch. COVID's been really hard, so we want to try and keep costs at a minimum. So that's another part of the league format. And then we also, based on the survey results that we looked at, clubs were comfortable playing indoor volleyball into the summer months. So with this model, we'll be looking at starting later and then also going later into June to try to have some sort of spring event. Go ahead, Kelvin. All right, so just some finer point details. All the league play is available for participants that are in the green to orange zones. Anyone in the red or lockdown are not allowed to participate in competition or competitive play through the league. For the leagues, what I spoke about briefly earlier was we're gonna have different waves. So each wave is 3 weeks long, and then we have a 2-week washout period between each cohorted wave that we have. We're hoping that the teams will not be doing additional scrimmages outside of the cohorts just to limit contacts that are out there with the people, just to keep the risk down. So I'm not going to read them, but you can look at the proposed dates. So we're looking at starting late February. Originally, we wanted to try and start for late January, but just seeing how the numbers keep increasing and throw the Christmas holidays in there, we needed to give it another month to see if those numbers can start to level out and some more of the communities can start coming out of the red zone up to the orange or yellows. So once again, we've already, from our first town hall session on this, we've already pushed our information back a month. So once again, asterisks on everything, potential to change to a later date. So next slide. Okay, so more of the details. So how's it going to work? So teams will register through the membership registration system. Our youth competition staff are going to cohort groups of 4 together based on their age and gender. And then we will do introductory emails to try and get these teams all to work together with the OVA staff to book their playing times. So once again, we're trying to alleviate any permit issues because we can't get full day rentals. We will have those one-off matches over that 3-week period during the normal practice times. And unfortunately, we all know and love the competitive balance that our staff are really good at getting teams put together to have very meaningful matches. Unfortunately, that is not the #1 method of getting these teams together at this point in time. Based on the regulations, once again, we're trying to keep the teams more geographically together. We can't have teams from Ottawa driving across Toronto to play, especially if we're looking at 1 or 2 matches. Based on the regulations, it's not a law. There's no law saying you can't leave your community to go to another one, but we need to do what's safe and responsible as the PSO. So obviously, we're going to try and cohort teams together that are as likely matched as possible based on where they are in the province. And lastly, for the smaller age groups as well, like especially when you get to the boys side of things, you know, at the younger age groups for 12 and 13U, as well as older, like the 17 and 18Us, we also may have to lump the 17 and 18s or like 12 and 13U boys together just to have a larger group of teams to pull from. So we might see some of that split up in there. Next one. So this is just a step, once again, that the teams will take. So basically they register with the OVA staff. Oh, Kelvin. There we go. Yeah, so I don't think I need to go through this. I really quickly kind of touched on it. The key one here is we are having referees for these matches. So we wanted to work, we spoke to Andrew and a few other referee committee chairs just to see how this would work. So still kind of fine-tuning the details, but working with our staff and the regional assigners to make sure we have refs, because not just engaging our athletes and our coaches and our clubs, we want to engage the referees during this time as well. We know it's not as attractive as a package deal as going out and working multiple matches at a tournament, but we want to make sure that we can still, you know, have the refs, have them working, have them developing, and there's also making some change on the side, which would be good. For the younger age groups, we are looking at doing 2 out of 3 matches, but what we decided that we would be paying referees for 3 straight rates. For the 17 and 18Us, they'd be working 3 to 5 matches. You know, so you're looking at kind of an hour and a half to 2 hour max time frame for each match that you'd be working at a club or team practice. So once all of the matches are played over that 3-week period, it's the team's responsibility to submit those scores to the OVA staff. They kind of track everything. Once the registration period is over for the next wave cohort, the teams do the same thing. So the youth comm staff would recreate the cohorts, have teams playing different teams in that area, and the process just continues. Yep, so also just kind of recapping that. If there are tiebreakers, we would be looking at standard procedures. One thing for the refs to keep in mind is we were looking at soft uniform policies. So this isn't going to be the strict, stringent year that we're used to. We're really focusing on development, but also helping the development by providing these competitive opportunities. So does it matter if the number on a jersey isn't the proper size? No. Does it matter if the uniforms may not even match? They might be t-shirts with like drawn on numbers this year for now, but we're doing what we can to offer that competitive opportunity, but not in the traditional sense that we're used to. So don't fine anyone for that, people. Okay, so I kind of talked about Ontario Championships. We all know what can't happen. Our lovely Rim Park, Enercare Center, Hershey, Paramount Fine Food Center, it's not feasible. This year, we're not going to be anywhere near large gathering sizes for the foreseeable future. With that said, we have been in contact with Rim Park to see if there's an opportunity to do something later, maybe early to mid-June. They've been looking into dates for us to see what's available. Same with Mississauga. Volleyball Canada is also talking to clubs and members to see if they have an opportunity to run some sort of national championship event later in the summer, even looking into July and August timeframe. So we might see the first year we actually have indoor really, all through the summer and then jumping right back into the fall. So we really wanted to look at, for us anyways, our goal to have some sort of championship or festival or just a way to celebrate the teams that participate in the league. So the staff are still working on what that structure looks like and how teams would be ranked or whatever to get into that spring championship. Because once again, they're all about kind of fun competitions with this league right now versus like the very stringent rankings and protocols that we have in the normal youth competitions year. So yeah, there would also be, we would award the teams that come out with medals and do some sort of presentations, whatever we can, whatever is safe in the environment that we have come June 2021. There are very many unknowns right now of what we're going to look at, 6 months down the road. We don't have a crystal ball. We just keep making plans and we need to adapt and change as things are thrown at us. So that's what we'll be doing. More information will be forthcoming over the next few months. Lots of town hall sessions are going to be booked all the way through, starting mid-January, up until the early spring for youth competitions, just to kind of keep everyone up to date with the situation and what we're doing. So that's kind of what we're looking at going into the spring. Next slide. Kind of next steps of what the staff have been doing. After we had our town hall session a few weeks back with all of our clubs, an email went out to the club presidents just to kind of outline, for those who couldn't be there, the format of the indoor proposed league model of what we'll be doing. So we're also going to be working on the general membership communication to go out to really talk about what the structure is, how to participate and all that fun stuff. So that's going on right now. Carrie Campbell has been working diligently on the season manual to keep everyone up to date on what we're doing. And just, all the housekeeping items, making sure our clubs are registered, they're in MRS, have their teams and all that fun stuff. And further development and really firming up what we can do for the spring championship model for our members in, 2020, 21 at some point. So that's kind of the next steps. Feel like there's a lot of questions, Kelvin. All right, for league play, will officials be limited to one cohort like the teams? We're obviously going to try and keep the referees in their area where those matches are taking place versus sending them all over the place. Our membership numbers are also down. So we are not at the traditional pushing 900 teams that we're used to. We're just over half of that. Even with that, though, based on the numbers right now with red and gray zones, we're up to 30% of teams that actually could participate due to the lockdowns in red zones. So once again, we want those numbers to get better. And we want to start seeing more teams available. So we should be able to keep the referees as local as possible.
Yeah, I don't have many questions unless they're in your private chat, Alicia.
I don't. I'm shocked.
So we're good.
I talk a lot, so I'm sure I got everything in there.
Here's one. Trying to keep
I can, sorry, I was just going to type in, there was just a question about the introduction email goes out to the teams. Will the potential locations be identified? No, so you're going to work with the teams within that cohort to identify your locations and schedule your matches. So only those 4 teams in that cohort know where they practice, what venues they have access to, and then they'll be able to work together to come up with a way to schedule their matches.
There was also a question about coaching and officiating. What would it look like for an official who is also coaching? Andrew, could you elaborate a bit on that, what you mean by that question? Let me see.
So I'm actually coaching a U14 team this year,
Awesome.
but I'm also interested in maybe officiating. I'm just keeping up with like my own personal development as a referee as well. So would it just like if I'm coaching in a certain wave, I'm guessing that I wouldn't be able to officiate during that same wave in a different cohort maybe, or how might that look? Would I be able to still officiate if it's like a different time, or would I officiate with teams within like the same geographical area? Does that make sense?
I think that there's flexibility there. Obviously, we are making sure that everybody's wearing masks and doing all our safety protocols. I think it'd be a great asset if your cohort was to able to group together a couple matches in one day and you'd be able to referee one and coach the other. I think that'd be a great opportunity. Again, we will try to keep everybody as local as possible, trying not to stretch those travel times. So if you're lucky enough, maybe you could make some money while you're coaching too. So we'll see how it all goes out. This is with this model and self-scheduling. It's really hard for us to come up with a yes, this is what's going to happen, and no, that's what's going to happen. You'll really have to work with those teams to make sure that you know, everybody knows where they're going and the officials are being notified.
Sorry, and one last question. Sorry. Would it still apply for referees who are in a red zone, like they would not be allowed to officiate in a cohort or in league play if they're in a red zone as well?
Alicia, I believe that's correct, right?
That's correct. Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of issues we're seeing as well with the facilities that are available, aside from being a board mandate of anyone, you know, in the red and gray zones not being able to compete or participate in any of the events, a lot of the facilities will not allow individuals that are in a red or lockdown into their facilities. So a lot of this stuff is also dependent on what the facility is approving. So unfortunately, red and gray cannot participate as a referee, coach, athlete, and so forth for the indoor league model.
Awesome. We have a question from Jennifer about red, orange teams playing or not, and also with the respect to distance between teams.
So red teams are not permitted to play within our leagues. Leagues are only open to orange, yellow, and green. So you won't be playing if you're in red. And really, we don't want to make anybody travel up, you know, an extreme amount of time. I want to put a ballpark out there and say probably maximum an hour and a half, possibly 2 hours if you're in an outlying area. We really won't know the distance until we have our teams registered. So if you're with a club or, you know, you do have a team and you're not registered, get registered as soon as you can. It really helps us with our planning process and kind of lets us know what kind of numbers to expect. So we won't know those distances until we get our registration finalized for each division and gender.
Mm-hmm.
I think the conflict of interest, the question just popped up. If a coach was suggested doing both, wouldn't it be a conflict of interest with respects to the other playing teams in the cohort? These are competition opportunities. Yes, we want everybody to play their heart out. Yes, but in the end, we're not ranking teams. We are not, you know, these games do not have any effect on future standings. They are playing opportunities, and they are a chance for competition and to keep the game alive. So I would like to think that everybody's going to go out there and you know, put their best foot forward and make sure that we're focusing on the competition and just playing ball. If this was for, you know, the all the marbles, we might have a different outlook here. But yeah, I don't want to say they're for fun, but they're for fun.
We just have a question from Andy. What is the reality that the VC Nationals will happen?
I just talked to Sandra. Okay, go ahead, Andrew.
Oh, I was just kidding. I'd spoken to Scott McLean, and he indicated that, you know, they are planning as if there will be a nationals, but it definitely won't be in that large scale. So they're hopeful, and it looks as if it could be, or most likely will be, later in the summer. So you're looking at, you know, potentially June or even July. So that's the latest I had heard.
Try August.
Okay, there you go. So really deep in the summer.
Really deep in the summer. I was chatting with Sandra today about logistics and different things, and they're even looking at the facilities that they had booked for 2021 to see what they can do and can't do. So once again, it's all moving pieces that we're just trying to put, you know, those pieces of the puzzle together to see what can be offered and for how many teams and so forth. So once again, stay tuned. It's the continual updates that you need to keep listening for.
I have a question coming from my private chat. With the not allowing of people mixing from red and yellow, or red and lockdown to the other regions, whose responsibility is it to ensure that the team at the league is actually eligible to play?
So obviously we'll be vetting lists and making sure that all registered teams are within the eligible zones within participation. And we will not add a team to a cohort who registers and is from a red or lockdown zone.
And is that the same for certain individuals, say like
red athletes on a orange
or
yeah.
yellow?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we all have to do our due diligence, right? Like we all have to work together in this. So the clubs also need to do their due diligence to make sure that they are adhering to the rules and regulations. Like the staff will be sending out the emails of like, hey, friendly reminder that only this is the roster that can show up to this event. And, you know, that will be, that should be going out to the referees as well. So Carrie, maybe something to write down, just a friendly reminder of they might have 14 people in the roster in NMRS, but these are the 10 that can play in this event kind of thing. So, you know, kind of everyone work together to make sure it's happening.
Eligibility requirements will be in the manual that'll be posted prior to the Christmas break. So that'll have who's eligible in that as well.
Yeah.
Alicia, can you speak to a beach season for the summer?
Oh, beach is easier. We're outside. We can have more people. It's great. No, it'll still be, you know, Kelvin, you can also speak to this as a beach person on the staff. But yeah, no, so our beach staff are now outdoor staff. They're not just beach anymore, because we're also looking into snow volleyball and grass volleyball and opportunities just to get touching a ball outside. So the staff have obviously been working on reviewing what happened with the friendlies in 2020 season and looking at how we can modify the beach tour to actually have some sort of tour with rankings and points instead of just friendlies for 2021, but also within the size limitations that we're allowed to have in terms of timeframes, how many people can be there, and all that fun stuff. So Dimitri, we are trying our hardest to get some sort of beach tour back in place. So stay tuned. It's going to be one of our indoor or town hall sessions, coming up in the early new year.
Awesome. Yeah, Carrie, go ahead.
Lessons learned from the indoor friendlies. Timing. Honestly, I really feel like we were a little bit of a victim of timing here. We did have great registration numbers. We were there was potential to run these events. However, with the different stages and lockdowns and all that craziness, it really dwindled our number of teams that were eligible to participate. So we would get, 15 teams registered for one wave of the friendly, and unfortunately only 2 would be eligible after the initial, the new framework was released. So, we were really kind of a victim of timings there. Another lesson we learned is people want to play. They're excited to play, and that if it's done safely and the right way, people have a good time. The 2 waves that we were able to run successfully, we got positive feedback back, and everybody was gracious and happy to be on the court, and that really kind of lifted our spirits a little bit because it was so difficult. So I think that's one big lesson that we learned, and I think just being sensitive to what's happening, which is another reason why we had the early pushback of the January 30th start time. So we want to really make sure that these are successful and that we're able to run them. So those are a couple takeaways that we're hopefully going to correct for the coming new year.
Yeah, and I think you guys did a really good job in terms of the youth comp staff, Carrie, like looking at the friendlies and what worked, what didn't work, and also applying that into the indoor league model of, once again, taking away, instead of having 3 teams at one location, now it's like, let's do 1 match with the 2 teams that are available on this night. And because trying to find facilities across Ontario, we had a staff, indoor competition staff, beach tour staff, just going through and contacting every single private school, college, university, recreational program, YMCA, like this list of thousands of facilities, and we came up with 3. Actually, at the end, I think it was 5 that were actually, permitting out space that were allowed to or not in a lockdown zone. So, it's we had to do what we can with what's available and in the guidelines and regulations from the government and health units. So. Yeah, and Alicia touched on the beginning of our presentation with why, and it's the facilities is an issue. Time commitment is an issue, learning about just trying to be flexible as these framework changes and things like that. And, just trying to utilize these gym times that are available, from 6 to 9 at night or, something like that. And for the OVA to run a tournament and kind of know all these specific time slots for venue availability would be impossible. So.
Harry?
Yes.
Carrie, I have a question. Could I ask you a question?
Yes, go ahead. Absolutely.
Sorry, I don't see my screen flashing. I reside in a red zone, but I do have a daughter that resides in a green zone. If I move to her place for the weekend, am I able to referee in your area?
You would be visiting her if you just went to her for the weekend. So it's actually your home base, your home mailing address. I would say.
Just trying.
I don't blame you. I try to.
We honor your commitment to the sport.
Yes, thank you. That's great to know. See, people want to play.
People want to ref. Yeah. We all want to be back on the court. All right. There's no other questions.
Come in about facilities and people's willingness or how comfortable they are to work without being at a facility or know what's going on there right now. How can people who aren't at the facility be comfortable with the procedures that are in place there in terms of cleaning and monitoring staff?
Well, if you're running a friendly and if you're agreeing to being in the league, you do have to agree to completely abide by our return to play protocols, which do outline specific procedures. We are also having a number of processes that will be involved. We will be expecting everybody to do their daily health screening prior to going to a league match or a league couple of matches. And we will be providing the host with, instructions on what to do and all that kind of stuff. So we're really making sure that everybody knows what they need to do and what it is to be safe. And we're finding actually a lot of the facilities are have extra additional measures to even what our return to play protocols are. So if a club is in a facility and they're practicing there, I can definitely, and they're allowed to operate and public health hasn't cracked down on them, that they are pretty strict. They're following the rules, and they've been able to successfully navigate and operate safely. So, and
Carrie, and just to reiterate as well, for referees that are going in to work these friendlies, they would also be upheld to follow the rules and regulations, the return to play protocols. They would be doing the daily health screening before they go in to work that match. The youth comp staff will, work with the team host of whoever's hosting that match to make sure the communication doesn't just go out to the team, but also to the working referee, right? So they know all the protocols in place, everything from like what entrance you go into, what you're allowed to do, if there's change rooms, not change rooms. With the RTP document, we have everything for event hosting protocols that they need to follow to the modified rules of the games that you guys have also been sent out. So it's a ton of learning and reading for everyone and change, but if everyone's following the protocols and doing their part, it's a safe environment.
And again, masks all the time. We're providing hand sanitizer with our hosting kits for everybody who registers for a league. So we're going to make sure that everybody knows what they're doing when they're having a team visit.
Okay. And then there's a question about people questioning us why we want to play so badly. How would the OVA like the referees to address this question?
The government of Ontario, even in lockdown zones, want people, if people are leaving, physical health and exercise is an essential service. So we are doing our part as a provincial sport organization in delivering our mandate of the sport, and we're following all the guidelines and safety protocols that are approved by all the health units. Everything we have done and created has been sent to every health unit across Ontario, and they've all sent feedback, which is incorporated into our document. So we're operating safely in the regulations that we're allowed to follow.
Awesome. So I think that's it for questions regarding indoor season. There's nothing else. I'll switch it back to Andrew for him to finish off the rest of the presentation.
Perfect. Wonderful. Thanks. Thanks, ladies, and thanks, Kelvin, and really thank the OVA for all that they have done. I mean, it's been a huge undertaking, which goes without saying, and sort of what comes to my mind, a few words is, patience, being flexible, versatility, and being agile. Again, we're all learning this together for the most part, and let's do what makes sense to be safe. So thank you for all of your efforts. It really is appreciated. So along
Thanks, Andrew. And sorry. Can I say one more thing?
Yeah,
I always interrupt you. I feel like I do.
No, it's okay.
No, and I think going back to Bob's question, it's also a personal choice. If people aren't comfortable participating, we're not telling anyone they have to. This is only for those that want and feel comfortable to go out and to participate in sport. So just remember that as well. And also with the referees, if they don't want to be refereeing this year, everyone has an automatic leave of absence. Remember that was communicated, at our first town hall session. So always keep those things in mind. We're not going to, tell someone they can't ref next year because they didn't request a leave of absence. It's just granted for anyone who doesn't work this year. So keep that in mind. Sorry, and back to you, Andrew.
Perfect. No, and that will come up in a couple more slides as well. But so with that, whistles and masks, that is a must. So we've heard that. Not only for the referees, but all the players, everybody is going to be needing to wear a mask. The electronic whistles are here. I can confirm that they are in my house. And we don't have the full allotment yet, but that's fine. We have more than enough, to cover those that register. Okay, and the mask will be coming from the OVA in conjunction with the whistle in the new year. So even though we talk about you'll only receive it if you are registered. And I know there are a few that are already registered. Nothing is taking place yet, and the OVA can't get into their building right now anyway to mail that. So that will be done in the new year. So not to worry, we'll take care of you. Sort of along those lines as well, the new badges. I have an email out to Scott McLean and Ryan Bunyan. Ryan hasn't gotten back to me yet, but they did indicate it's going to be January. And so it's just a matter of will it be sent to the OVA office or directly to the home? I have asked if they can send it directly to your home. So, keep on the lookout for that, more information to follow. Referees should only register in MRS, so the new MRS system, if they are assigned. And so if you already have registered and you have not whistled at all, you've not worked any of the friendlies, or you won't end up working any of the friendlies, not to worry, we can reimburse you. And so I think that had come up in a chat as well, that someone had registered and they haven't worked yet, but we will refund you. So no worries there at all. Okay. Next slide for me, please. All right, just want to come back again to the online level 1 module that our 4 individuals that are listed here have spent countless hours putting together. It's the level 1 online easy generator platform, and kudos. I will keep sending out my kudos to Kennedy, Brittany, Ryan, and Brad for the great work. They did do a little demo for the referee committee a few weeks ago. So we are ready to go in the new year. And so that was an important piece. We've had a lot of time to, flush out a lot of the bugs, so to speak, and it's really just pretty flawless. So thank you again for their great and continued work. And for our beach folks that are out there, not to worry, we are going to be working on that as well, but we wanted to get the indoor taken care of, and then we will navigate to the beach. So stay tuned for that. So again, thank you. And I guess one other comment is that those that are clinicians, we will get that sent to you because again, that will replace what we are currently using right now. And so moving forward, this will be what is required as a clinician to certify level 1 candidates. Next, please. So the certification and upgrades, it's really fluid in one sense. There will not be any upgrades for levels 3 and 4. So that is for sure, that will not be taking place. We haven't had anything this year. Those that are currently in the program, you are getting feedback and you are hearing from, whether it's Chris with the RUP or Jason with the national candidates. They have been in contact with you, so that will continue. It's just we won't have any new candidates for this year. From the level 2 standpoint, the PUP, as I had mentioned in the last town hall, that there are a couple regions that were able to just under the gun get those level 2s upgraded. They completed their testing and did their practical. A couple other regions were not able to, but again, moving forward, it's going to be a consistent process. But we don't know what's going to happen there. I know that there are a couple regions that are trying to see what they can do to get those level 2s completed for next year. There's the testing. So whether that is coming together at a site to do the testing and get that done, and then trying, once we have the friendlies underway, to do something there and get that practical component, or if we wait until there's some semblance of a provincial to do it there. So stay tuned, more to come, but the plan is to get everyone from the level 2 through for next year. All right, so the Referee Engagement Center, this is a wonderful tool. It's sort of like our one-stop shop. You know, there's so much information, and I think right now we have only 300 or so people registered. We want to get that up. We need to get that increase. If you have not registered, please reach out to Kelvin. There's just a whole host of information, whether it's the different the rules are, all the different policies, the return to play. All of that is uploaded onto this platform. We have the technical resources. So you know, if you're looking for the rule book, you know, the guidelines, all of that is situated here. So I can only encourage everyone to get on board, because all of that information will be at your fingertips there. So again, any questions, any difficulties, please do reach out to Kelvin there. All right, so this is something that's near and dear. So this is the referees outreach. And so this goes back to the fact that we have our recruitment and retention subcommittee. And so shout out to Samara, to Jen, to Irina, Jason, Brian Rancourt, Brian Emons, Chris, and Kelvin. So they're all members of that recruitment and retention. What we had done first was to start off with the retention piece. We felt that was important because in a good year, we lose people. We lose referees, whether they're going off to school or they choose for whatever reason to no longer to register. You know, in the past number of years, we haven't kept up to the increase of the registration. And so we've been pretty stagnant. So you can only imagine then during a pandemic, how many more people we're going to lose as those that are new to the game find other things to, you know, preoccupy their time, or there are individuals that just aren't interested for whatever reason to still referee. There's still concerns. And so we wanted to focus on the retention piece. And so we had a number of our senior referees. We had 54 senior referees that reached out to our younger referees. So those that were level 1 and level 2, just to have a conversation. It's important, you know, to have that conversation, to see how they're doing, to see how they're feeling. Are they interested in, if given the opportunity, would they return to the game? How are they feeling, you know, about the pandemic? There are, you know, a number of the people that, you know, are living on their own, and so it's not a matter of just about the refereeing, but connecting. And so to have that connection piece was ideal. And I want to really, you know, thank all of those, you know, referees that reached out. Kudos to Lino Condata. I'm not sure if he's on the call. I think he might be, but he reached out to 25. Everyone else, they had anywhere between, you know, 5 and 10 referees that they contacted. And so you see there that 50% indicated that they feel comfortable, but there's still a portion that's not comfortable. And so we want to continue that conversation, and these are the things that we're going to do. The next step would be the recruitment piece, because that is important as well. And there are a number that are sort of in a holding block because we just don't have the traditional opportunities of a site to run a clinic. And so maybe do we just say, you know what, because we have that online platform ready to go, have them do the test, and then we'll worry about the practical down the road. So that is something that they will look into. And so that's their next task in the new year, to look about the recruiting piece. Any questions on any of that so far? All right, good. Next.
No, I think we're okay, Andrew.
Okay.
Raise point.
All right. So what is upcoming? You know, the Let's Talk indoor, and we probably should put in there beach as well. But right now it's going to be the indoor. We had a little bit of a hiatus because we had so much that was taking place. We did 8 sessions, 8 months in a row, and so we took November off because we had some of the other presentations through Volleyball Canada that was taking place. So we took off November and December, but we're going to start back up in the new year. So we have the 3 dates there. So everyone knows it's the last Sunday of the month, and then we'll most likely transition from that into the beach which would be the first Sunday of the month. So look for that. Kelvin has already sent out the information on there to sign up. I will say too that we had some of those sessions with Volleyball Canada. The last one, I guess, was we had Scott McLean that addressed not only from a BC standpoint, but for Ontario as well, on the psychology of refereeing. We are looking for other topics to have some conversations in the new year. And so if you have any topics that you feel are important and that is something that we can speak to you, then please either talk to your RRC, send me a message, and we'll look about getting those topics so we can have more conversations there. Any questions there? OVA office, they'll be shutting down for, I guess, a week and a half or so. So December 24th to January 3rd. That's nothing new. That's what they have always done. Any questions, please feel free to again contact your referee chair there. So that is it for me. Any questions?
Nope. I think we're okay.
Okay. I guess just quick little tidbit that I wouldn't mind highlighting, and I don't know if many people saw it though, but we had the annual report, and there's a nice little highlight from one of our own referees there. So congratulations to Samara and her husband Steve for doing great things within the volleyball community. Of course, Samara getting her international and doing some traveling, had some big matches in China. But and then coaching as well. So not only is she refereeing, but coaching. But then also her husband is the chief de mission for Ontario, and he will be leading the Ontario for the 2022 Canada Games. That was supposed to take place in 2021, but will be in 2022 in Niagara. So kudos to both of them. Any comments, anything? Look at the timing, 9:01, not too bad, 90 minutes. Well, listen, nothing else. I want to thank everyone for their time. I know it's long, 90 minutes, but really appreciate you spending some time with us this evening. Thanks to the referee committee Thank you very much to the OVA staff for all their work. Thank you to Guy. As always, thanks to Kelvin for setting this up. Really appreciate that. And so I just want to wish you all and your families a very safe, very healthy, happy holiday season. And again, promise better things for next year. Be good, be safe, and thanks very much. And we'll chat to you next year. Cheers.